We're delighted now to be joined on the podcast by one of Castlehaven's heroes in the recent Munster final win against Dingle, Cathal Maguire. Welcome to the pod, Cathal.
Perfect. Thanks, Garrett. Delighted to be on.
I'm going to start off with a very odd question. I heard your nickname is Shooter. Fill me in on the context and the background to that one.
I suppose I think it would have probably goes back to about, I'd say, 2015, kind of my first year, probably on the senior junior panel below down west. And I don't know, maybe in the eyes of other people, maybe I took some ill-advised shots, or should we say, but I think it was Stephen Hurley, older brother of Brian Michael, he'd probably be the one to take credit for coining that one.
Well, it's a name that'll stick with you now because you certainly took the right options in the recent final against Dingle. Take me back. So we're going to jump straight to those final few moments of extra time. Haven were down 2 points. You scored 2 incredible points. What was going through your mind at that stage of the game?
To be honest, like it probably felt like we were gone. So that said, you kind of just had nothing to lose. For the first one, I suppose I had an awareness that if we score quickly, kind of there might be a bit more, like there might be just time to get another one rather than, I know probably even in the play before that, I was thinking, would they ever just lob the ball in and see what happens? But then kind of when it broke out to me, and I suppose I just saw Brian started cramping, so I'd probably prefer to give the ball off to him because he'd be probably have a higher shooting percentage than myself. But no, I was just basically a case of throwing a leg at it really and just hoping to get in position then for the next kick out.
When that equalising point went over, like we were well into injury time at the end of extra time. What's that feeling like to know that you've saved your team in such a big game?
To be honest, I don't know what was happening. I was only same as a lot of other fellas in the field. I was just trying to not suffer from cramp really. I was kind of in a lot of pain. Same as everyone else really, but it was just okay. I don't know what was going through my head really. It was just you still even at that stage like you're thinking about, is there going to be another play? And like only when I suppose you see kind of the ref I think started walking in towards the D that you kind of realize, right, that's kind of it. Like so there was kind of no real time to think about it really.
Like that was a chaotic game, the Munster final. Like it had everything. Like obviously the storm going on around it. Like the game was played amidst the storm with the wind and the rain. Of all the games you've played, where does that rank in terms of chaos? Because it's a game that had drama, intrigue. It was full of teeter. Like it must be right up there.
Yeah, I suppose it would have to be right up there, definitely, in terms of I suppose magnitude and everything like that. No, like it was a huge game in the history of the club. And then I suppose when you're adding in, like you never really know what the elements are going to be like when they were the way they were. I suppose it just adds to the occasion of it all. Then you can have two good teams trying to play pretty good football. Like you're going to have a bit of a spectacle, and I suppose the elements can either help it or hinder it. And I suppose they did their best to kind of hinder it, but I don't know. In the end, they probably just kind of added to the whole sense of occasion really, and could have. I thought anyway that there was still a lot of good football played, even despite how bad the elements were.
Talk to me about your own performance. Chatting to Damon Cahalan afterwards, he said you had the game of your life. That you took the battle to Dingle. That you carried the amount of ball. Explain to us your kind of role on the day. Like what your job was.
But generally, I'd always think that my role is nearly to just get the ball to kind of Brian, Michael, Mark, Jack, the fellas who are, I suppose, top kind of scorers in the team really, and then kind of from there just kind of work as hard as possible from the team, same as anyone else. I did it like I get kind of the way that I would be a small bit that I'd be thinking about. You'd nearly think about the negative stuff first, like because I know I probably gave away 2 bad turnovers myself, but like that's that's going to happen in those kind of conditions, I suppose. But no, like obviously you're going to be relatively pleased with your own personal performance, like, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as Mark was the one going up the steps to lift the cup. It didn't matter how it happened or whether you played the whole 80 minutes, took a penalty, or you played 1 minute, or you didn't come on at all. Like the kind of everyone from I suppose number 1 to number 36 in the panel, like all you're thinking about is you're striving towards Mark going up the steps to lift the cup.
because you really had to dig deep into your panel. I think there was eight substitutions used on the day, and it showed the strength of the Haven panel, but it also showed us the strength of this group of players, like the spirit that you showed, Cathal, at various, well, all through the game, but especially at various points. 3 points down in the second half of the game, came back to level force extra time. 3 points down at half time and extra time, came back. Dingle had a kick to win the Munster final, yet you stuck in there and you got your just reward at the end. But tell me something about the Castlehaven spirit. What's it like to play in a team like that? You just never knows when it's beaten.
Yeah, I suppose it's been building and building over the year. Really, we've probably ridden our luck at times, but I suppose it comes down to that we just have complete trust in one another, really, and I suppose that's kind of building on like what that jersey has achieved over the years, and it all just kind of seemed to culminate positively this year. Things just seem to come together a bit better than other years, where it probably a lot of the same players involved the last couple of years. We were unlucky not to get over the line a couple of times, but sometimes look, there's there's great teams in the Cork Championship. You're never going to get an easy game, no matter who you're playing. I think the way that the championship has been restructured down in Cork like makes it one of the most competitive in Ireland. Like so, and I think it's just I suppose it kind of would justify it in terms of like you see what Nemo and the Bears have kind of achieved over the last few years, and when they've come out into Munster, it's just nice to be able to kind of back that up, like when you're I suppose when you're competing with them inside the county as well.
Was it very important for you as a group? Okay, won the Cork County title in the Munster series, but to win a Munster medal as well, because no player in this group had ever won a Munster club senior football medal before. So how important was it for you as a group to try and get your hands on a medal like that?
Yeah, like obviously we've like the county was the number one thing at the start of the year. Like you can't think beyond that. Like you're even well at the start of the year, like your first priority is to get out of the group. And as it turned out, like that was no guarantee at all, especially with the quality of the teams that we were playing. So look, when we got over the line in the county, I suppose it was just kind of the way the kind of attitude in the group is at the moment. It's just on to the next, whatever's the next thing. So like we'd have celebrated and kind of really soaked in that county win, but like immediately after a couple of days, like all we'd have been thinking about is first round against Cratloe and going from there again. Because look, there was there was more silverware on offer, and then look, we were just delighted to be able to get there.
What's it been like going into the Munster series? Because all of a sudden, for most of this Castlehaven group, you're playing different teams. Only a handful of the lads were there back in 2012 and 2013, but they played Cratloe from Clare, then they travel down to Rathcormac to play Waterford, then to play Dingle. What's that been like in terms of the challenges, but even the style of teams you're coming up against?
Like no, I think it's very positive thing to play against different opponents as well, like that might know you as well. But I think, and this is down to our testament to the backroom team that we have as well, that like we'd have felt like that we'd have known a lot about the opposition we were playing, but ultimately it just comes down to who performs on the day, really. And like we just knew there wasn't going to be much between any of the teams. Like every team is a county champion and they're on merit. So like you're just hoping that the game plan that you put in place on the day is correct, and then you hope that the players will go out and execute it, really. We'd be very confident in our panel from 1 to 36. Anyone that's there can play and can, or I suppose, add to chances of us winning any game. So like it's obviously a very nice thing to come out and play new teams, but like we're just happy that we're there and we're kind of still going.
Do you feel that this team is improving all the time? I'm going to go right back to the first game of the county championship, and that draw against Carbery Rangers over in Clonakilty. And I was talking to James McCarthy a few weeks back, and he says he remembers saying in the huddle afterwards to you that we're going to win the county this year, because he was saying that he could see the spirit in the group, and he could see that there was something there. And from that game, he improved right through the Cork Championship, like taking out Ballincollig, didn't take out the Bars, didn't beat Nemo. That opened the door to Munster. But could you see the team growing and developing, and even the self-belief growing throughout that run?
Yeah, like it's a strange one, I suppose. Really, like it's kind of it does like the further you can go, like obviously you would think that you would improve, like, but it doesn't necessarily always happen that way. Like, but I suppose the volume of players that we kind of have involved with between, like, I suppose under 8 or kind of under 20 and then senior intercounty teams like that, you just don't have full access to your players for the full year, I suppose. Look, and that's the same with every other club really, but it's just that sometimes it just takes that bit longer to kind of bed back in, I suppose, and just really get exposed to the whole thing again, and kind of patterns kind of emerge then, I suppose, as you can kind of get on. But I suppose we've been just lucky that we've kind of come through each test as it's been presented. Like we've nearly the way it's been, like every game that we've played has been a knockout game, that if we lost at any stage like that, even in the group stage, like you can't take the foot off the gas for 1 second. Like you have to be thinking that the only way you're going to get through here is if you win the game. So like that's kind of, I suppose, been our mentality, which has probably stood to us really in terms of how we've managed to kind of close out games or finish games. And we just, I don't know, it's a good sign of a team like that, even maybe that the performance isn't there, that just you're just getting through and you're kind of scraping over the line at times.
You can take all those lessons learned into the All Ireland semi final against St. Bridget's January 7th. How much you looking forward to that game?
Oh, it's just, again, I suppose it's the next game. It's a level that we haven't played at before. None of the squad here has played, and I suppose in an All Ireland series game or at club level. So like it's just something that is massive for the parish and the club and the group of players and management. Like we couldn't be looking forward to it more.
It really is kind of, I'm not saying it's a once in a lifetime game, because Haven can get back here again, but there's so many steps to get to an All Ireland semi final. Like you really want to make the most of it. So I presume it's going to be a quite Christmas as you're preparing for January 7th.
Yeah, like I can't wait. I'll train as many days as it takes. Whatever management put on for us, we'll turn up anyway. I personally can't wait for it. I've no problem being a bit quieter over Christmas. I'm willing to take that for a chance to play an All Ireland semi final.
How much you enjoying this season? So
I hope it never ends. It's like you're just, I don't know. It's just the perfect kind of routine, really. We've been very lucky that the way it's structured in Cork, and the way it's gone beyond like that. Pretty much you're playing a championship game every kind of 2 weeks, and every game has been a huge game. Like, so it's just kind of just the pattern has emerged, I suppose, that you're kind of building up and building up, and then playing a game. And look, we've just been lucky that we've been the ones to come out on the right side of it. And then you're kind of back into it again, and you're into the same routine, and it's just, like I hope it never ends.
like you've really kind of rose to prominence over the last couple of seasons, and obviously an involvement in Cork. Is that something that you aspire to do as well, to try and make that break with Cork?
Any player that's any I suppose love for club and county would want to make that breakthrough, but at the moment the only thing I can focus on is Bridget's on the 7th of January. So look, yeah, we kind of deal with that as it comes, but I think the priority number one will be kind of trying to get, I suppose, prepared and get used to the game plan for Bridget's, do analysis on the opposition, and then look, we'll take it from there then.
Just on that game plan, how important have James Mack and his management team been? Go back to the Munster final, they left no stone unturned whatsoever. He caught us all by surprise by putting Damien Cahalan in goal, but even Mark Collins was filling us in after that. The management, a couple of lads had gone up the week of the game. They actually went down to the Gaelic grounds the morning of the game to kind of suss it out as well. Like I said, it's no stone left unturned. So that management team, like, they must give you great confidence too that you can go very far.
100%. Just it's just real buy-in from both sides, really. Players and management, like management are putting in the structures for us to succeed, and then players, I suppose, are buying into that then, and it just kind of breeds a confidence throughout the group that whatever day we go out, whoever we're playing, that we're in the best position possible to go out. And then if we come up against a better team in the day, so be it. We'll hold our hands up and say, look, fair play. But like, we're just, I suppose, James and the lads have just they've put us in a position to succeed, really, and that's like, you can't ask for any more than that.
One of the other highlights on the day too, last in the Munster final, you were in the match program. You were answering, you were doing the Q&A in the match program, Cathal. Kind of talking about your dream 7-a-side and so on. So if you could pick let's say your dream Haven 7-a-side from past legends, we won't pick some of the current fellas in there. Who would be some of the former players that you would love to play beside?
You could be here all day, naming players, but I suppose would be remiss of me not to put, I suppose, my father in goal anyway. I'd never hear the end of it. If I didn't. And then after, honestly, you could pick a team of any number of the lads. Then we've had, I suppose, we're lucky that we've put, like, we've had so many great players throughout the years who've put us in the position where we are today. I suppose the kind of the run of unbroken senior football for a club down in West Cork like ours is just, it, like, we wouldn't be here but for, I suppose, the lads back in the day getting us here really. And then it's just been a case of next man into the jersey then has been the way it has been. And luckily that we've been able to get to the top of Cork football 6 times. And that's just kind of how it's been. Without the lads that have gone before us, like, we wouldn't be here. Like, you've any number of fellas: Niall Callan, Mike O'Brien, Dennis Cleary, Christy Collins, Dennis Crowley, Jim Nolan. You could play with any of them. And we've obviously been blessed with stacks of forwards as well. Like Larry, John, Edmund Cleary, my own uncle John Maguire. Like, we've had serious players down through the years. Colin Crowley has been one of the most prolific scoring forwards that we had. So, like, we've just been haunted with the players that we've had, and the group of lads that we have playing today as well. It's just a testament to kind of what's gone before us.
Like some of the names you listed off there, it actually would be a challenge just to pick 7 fellas in a Dream 7-a-side team. But you mentioned your father there as well. Obviously, Haven is in your blood, like, it's part of your DNA. How important was it in your family growing up, kind of that I suppose, like, that Castlehaven tradition?
Yeah, I suppose it's the way I've been raised as well. Like, I don't know any different, maybe I don't know any better, but like, this is just the way that it's been since 4 or 5 years old. Going to, I suppose, his games, and then after that, I suppose, playing my own games, brothers' games, and it's just been, it's just a connection that kind of keeps bringing you back, bringing people back. Like, I suppose we're just so lucky to be from where we're from. That there's just something about it that keeps pulling people back. Like, you see the amount of people coming home from America for these games, like that. It's just kind of, it does drive you on that small bit more, like that, just to keep giving them opportunities to come home really. So, like, we're just very lucky to be from Castlehaven. Like, it's a thing that we're massively proud of.
Those for people outside of West Cork and outside of Cork, they probably don't understand how much of a religion football is in Castlehaven. Like, football is king in Castlehaven, and it's just what everyone talks about. And that's why it makes these seasons like this just so much more special.
Yeah, like, for a lot of people, it's probably made their year. Like, and as a player, to be able to do that for a lot of the people in the parish, like, it's a huge honor. And it's just something that we hope that we can keep continuing on to do in the future.
And like you said, it's not finished yet. 1 more game to go, hopefully 2 more games to go. You've been so kind with your time, Cathal. Congrats on this season so far, and the best of luck against Bridget's.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Kieran.